Alright guys, again, this has nothing to do with what actually happened yesterday, but why are we doing interviews on the main broadcast? Like, what are we doing? I know these games are kind of meaningless, but like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, let's just get this thing going now.
Minnesota! Ball comes loose. Dolphins have it. Across midfield, it's Van Ginkel.
It is the Motor City Express. This fight today is like a David versus Goliath, and I tell you, the Detroit Lions, guys, they are the Goliath. Bring in those jackets. Bring them in.
Netflix Christmas. They're heavy, so
Like kings. Like kings.
He needs some milk. Shoulder down and trucks a man.
These last few games, we can eliminate those, not beat ourselves, and then we can compete with them.
Wow. Number 95. Half this goal. Wilson first down.
Chris Jones, of all people, that is the first.
Right there has been balling despite having a ton of different quarterbacks. And here is Debo. Debo Samuel. Both to eyes.
dance to the dead. Dance to the dead. Dance to the dead. Dance to the dead. Oh yeah, underneath the tree.
Malik Davis, single setback, motion man. Prescott, protection holds up. Oh! Bobbled and caught. Touchdown. He knocks it forward, 4th and a yard. Prescott surveys, throws, and it's perfect to Pickett. 2 of 2 on 4th down today. 4 receivers set. Prescott clean pocket, and it's complete. Good enough for a first. Lamb in motion. There it is. It's Williams. And the second effort by Williams gets him there. On a give, Williams ripping through for the touchdown. Cowboys. Prescott, step, throw, flag down, and caught in stride. Turpin, the speed. He's 5 minutes to go. Handoff, Krusky Merritt, and he stays on his feet for the touchdown. Just gets it away cleanly. Oh, you're studying that.
I think when I'm looking at the
Krusky Merritt.
that's what it's like to see Krusky Merritt. Let's go.
Down for the loss.
Unbelievable.
Aubrey. These are routine. Oh boy. Sig will snap it. The hold from Anger, and the kick is no good. Prescott. He will throw it, and he'll get the first down to Tolbert on the Commanders. 51-yard attempt. Aubrey knocks it through. 57. Placement, kick, and that one is good.
And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fun of the Please like and subscribe if you guys just enjoyed those highlights from that Cowboys win over the Commanders to give them a chance to get back to 500, as we had a very good Christmas slate in terms of the competitiveness of the games. The middle one, which was supposed to be the best of 3, I guess, didn't end up being that. It was actually probably the worst of 3. But as you guys saw in this first game, again, hope you guys all had a great Christmas, got what you wanted, gave people what you wanted. Again, anyone who isn't as fortunate as me or anyone else, that they were able to have a good Christmas too, because again, those are the people who again really deserve it. But as you guys can see in this one, Cowboys and Commanders didn't have a great year coming to this one. They both put together a pretty good first game for us, as the Cowboys ended up holding on against Commanders 30-23, as we saw some points put up in this one. Cowboys offense continued to roll in this one as they moved to 7-8-1, bouncing back from a really bad second half last week, in which I don't even think they scored. As they moved to 7-8-1, giving them a chance to get back to 500 to end the season next week at the Giants, which would be a pretty interesting win if they, lost. If they lost that one again, at least in the Giants' perspective. We'll have again, Week 17 predictions coming out sometime tomorrow. Commanders, though, 4-12 now. They've lost, what is it now? 10 out of the last 11 games. It's been a rough stretch for them, but it's definitely been a rough season too. Next week they'll be playing Philly to round out their season. Maybe they played pretty well, but honestly, guys, for performance, at least in terms of how your year's gone, it really wasn't that bad. You guys got a lot of encouraging things that came out of it. But for both these teams eliminated, not too many takeaways for me in this one. Again, the big thing for Dak is he's had a fantastic season. He might be leading the league in passing yards now, if I'm not mistaken, after this performance. Yeah, I think he is, but he won't for long. But still, Dak's had a big-time season this year. It's been his best statistical season since, other than, again, it's like every other year since, really, honestly, I can't even tell. Let's see his whole career. It might be just an every other year thing for his entire career, if we look at it, for Dak, in terms of his statistics, in terms of how strong they are. So, let's go back to this. 2016 rookie season, big time year. So again, it's not like really technically great, but crazy good rookie year. I mean, he didn't really do anything, but you get the point. Really good year. 2017, he was kind of crappy in terms of the numbers. So again, really the first 3 years. Realistically, the first 3 years of his career, very similar numbers in terms of his actual effectiveness, not on tape and stuff. But 2017, kind of a lackluster year in terms of the touchdown interception ratio. 2018, it was really just Zeke doing his thing again. 2019 was his first year where he really went crazy. So I'm gonna really say since 2019, this is really when we see this kind of pattern here. 2020, he got injured. He was off to like one of the more insane starts for a quarterback. He was averaging how many yards per game? It was like 300. It was like 400 yards per game because he got injured in week 5. To 2021, big time year, best year of his career. Second best year of his career statistically at this point. 2022 got injured. He was injured part of the year and he was crap in terms of the numbers. 2023 best statistical year was like, what was he, second in MVP voting, behind Lamar. Again, weak year for MVPs. 2024 stunk, got injured, and then in this year he's been pretty strong. So you can see every year really since 2019 it's been a flip flop in terms of numbers. So that's kind of what we're seeing with Dak so far in terms of career trajectory. This year they're not going to the playoffs, but if you're a Cowboys fan, seeing how Dak had this year, not too many issues with how he played. He definitely had some issues. He did take 6 sacks in this game, but I think 4 of them were definitely because he wasn't protected. I can tell you that from what I saw on tape last night. The running game, I didn't chart too many of Malik Davis's carries, to be honest with you guys. I just didn't really see this game as much of an evaluation game for me as I think I probably should have gone into with him. But what I saw, he was very sudden on his carries, which is something that he hasn't really been outside that Chiefs game this season. But overall, he had a really solid day. Javonte Williams got injured. That's why Malik Davis got 20 carries. But I really love their commitment to the run game. It's how they controlled this one. And outside of that, I guess Hunter Lubicki got some carries as the fullback. Kamon Turpin was the player of the game in terms of Netflix. I really hate Netflix. I think they do a horrible job with Thursday with these Christmas games. But I'm not going to get too deep into it because, well, it's only their second year doing it. I'm not getting too crazy about it. We'll talk about Seth Rollins, though. Or, at least you guys saw with Seth Rollins. Bro, no one cares about Monday Night Raw, bro. If they're going to watch NFL, they're not going to, like, bro, what are we trying to do promoting this stuff? But anyway, back to this. George Pickens had another big game in terms of, again, explosive plays. CeeDee Lamb, I guess, was out there. I didn't really see many of his. I think I saw 5 of his routes, honestly. Not all of his targets, though. I think they were like a mix of them. But he got open pretty consistently, though. Jalen Tolbert, he's had a rough year. Honestly, guys, offensive was a lot of a good running game, marrying it with some of these play-action themes, which was good. Defensively, they had one of the better games of the season. I think they did do a good job in terms of their physicality up front. They were horrible in terms of their tackling and coverage in this game. It was really bad to watch. Also, some of the misdirection stuff really exposed some of their gap discipline issues. But Shamar James, the rookie, had a very solid game. Siobhan Revel, one of his better games of the season. Jadeveon Clowney, a blast for the pass in terms of his pressure rate in this game. Quinn Williams was pretty decent. Osa definitely had one of his worst games, so kind of one of the different parts of this. And honestly, I'd say that I did not watch much Trayvon Diggs and Malik Hooker in this game, to be honest with you guys. Brent Aubrey missed a field goal as well. Will Reichard had a big-time day for the Vikings, though. For the Commanders, though, moving over to this game, or not this game, the other side of this, Josh Johnson, I'm talking about Chris Oladokun to end this thing. It was one of the better games you'll see out of him, or out of a third-string quarterback, to be honest with you guys. You can't really blame him too much for this game. Again, he took, I guess he really wasn't doing much downfield, but in terms of this, again, offensive play calling, it was about as good as it could have gotten, and he just didn't really lose in the game. JCM had a 72-yard run. Outside that, really struggled, but still, he had a really freaking good game at the end of the day. Again, they only ran the ball, was it freaking 15 times? Traylon Burks had a rough game as well. Debo, 2 for 68, had a big-time play there. Terry McLaurin was good, too. It was really just a lot of explosives for this offense. They really weren't on the field and able to sustain drives too consistently, but hey, they still put up 23 points. Defensively, it wasn't a great game, though Jersey Newton had a heck of one with 3 sacks. Again, the most by a Commander since 2015, or a Redskin, I guess if we're going to go back then. Don't cancel me. But anyway, Bobby Wagner, he had a big game. I don't know, Frankie Louvu looked okay, but really it was just the fact this secondary really didn't look good at all. And a lot of their linebacker play was predicated off of what they were doing in coverage, which, again, kind of got into the run game a little bit. But overall, guys, Commanders didn't play out the worst game. But, again, the Cowboys had 480 yards of offense. They went 6 of 6 on 4th down, even though they only went 8 of 20 on 3rd. Again, when you're playing a team that's 21st downs and they have 38 minutes possession, it's kind of hard to win the game. But, again, good for Cowboys fans to get at least some silver lining on this season. Commanders, it's just been a rough year. But overall, not the worst Christmas game. This next one, though, was a nightmare for the Lions.
Oh yeah, underneath the tree.
Way down. Brosmer. Hutchinson got in the backfield. Hutchinson has him wrapped up. U.S. Bank Stadium. Montgomery stays in the backfield. And trouble with the snap. Van Ginkel jumps on it. This is this first quarter for Aaron Jones. It's 3rd and goal. And it is Jones. And he is in for the touchdown. TJ. Oh, the ball came out, and another fumble recovery. It's Montgomery trying to get to the end. Goff looks. Goff throws. It is caught. Touchdown. Isaac to Swan. Here comes the pressure. Van Ginkel got in there. Goff got rid of it, and it's picked. Byron Murphy takes it away. Will Riker will come on for the field goal. A 52-yard attempt is good. Take it to him. Goff delivers another pick. And it's the veteran Harrison Smith with a takeaway. Made from 52 on the last drive. This one from 56. Just stays in. See what Goff and company can do here. Not much. Goff gets walloped. Ball comes out. Minnesota's right there. But he won't miss a 7. That one was tricky here. Jordan Addison turns on the screen. Go, Addison! Can he get there? Van Ginkel took it away late. Attempt by Will Riker. He is 2 for 2 so far. Make him 3 for 3.
Oh boy, in our most significant game in terms of actual playoff consequences in this one, we saw the Vikings take it to the Lions in this one despite having a combined three net passing yards in this win. It's, I think, only the third time this has ever happened in NFL history where teams had less than 10 net passing yards and have somehow won. But they ended up winning this game 23-10 with a very sustained defensive performances. They, outside of maybe like a couple big plays in this one, were absolutely dominant. Lions fell to 8-8. It's their first 3-game losing streak, as you guys saw in the intro, since 2022. Again, it's just kind of been off the rails here for the past really 3 weeks for the Lions. Whether it was giving up 41 to the Rams back in week 15, absolutely boat raced. Week 16 having some very unfortunate finish just to this. It's been kind of highlighting every single issue a team can have in losses. Whether it was this week, their offense falling off a cliff and just completely imploding. Their defense in week 15 imploding against the Rams. And then, or just last week where it was kind of a mix of both and a lot of unfortunate plays. Kind of tells you how this Lions season's gone. They're now 8-8. They are officially eliminated from the playoffs. They have now lost more games, I guess technically since they did lose 2 games in the playoffs. But realistically, the regular season losses, they had 7 the past years. They went 12-5-23. Last year, 15-2, tied for the best record in the NFL. This year, after just being the 1 seed, not even a year ago, they're now had more losses this year than last year, the past 2 years combined. It's pretty surreal that this is this case they're in. But at the same time, if you're a Lions fan, you guys know what you need to do. But guys, I'm going to keep telling you, a lot of people are just crapping on this defense with like this play. But I can't tell you enough, this Lions defense had their best game of the season when they needed it. I know, like, what the hell are you talking about? Guys, this Lions offense was having 30 a game, guys. This game should have been a blowout win, to be honest with you guys. There's no reason for not. The Lions wouldn't have given up 15 points if their offense actually showed up in this game. It's that simple. All credit to that Vikings defense because they're a really freaking good group, and Brian Flores should be a head coach. But if you're the Lions, guys, that is on the offense in this one. All the blame goes to the offense. Yes, defense had some things, but I'm not going to get into that because it really doesn't matter. Your season's over. But again, special teams too. Your offense lost you this game. They've been what carried you all season. Again, it kind of tells you kind of where their season's gone. But defensively, this is not the reason they lost this game. They came to play. But anyway, for the Lions, next week they'll be heading to the Chicago game that I really hope they decide to show up in. And then you also have the Vikings next week playing against the Packers. The Packers team that actually already clinched a playoff spot. We've talked about them sometime tonight. I think I'm trying to get that out for the, Saturday games, because we have 2 Saturday games this weekend, 2 Saturday games next weekend, which will be determined by whatever happens the rest of Week 17, because can they flex those games and stuff. Week 17's Week 18, my bad, it's always a madhouse. But Packers are clinched here, and technically they still have a chance to get I think even the 2 seed maybe. Yeah. They technically, they're not going to, but again, they technically still have a shot to do that. So if you're, again, the Vikings fans, you're thinking, you have a last game of the season next week at home, chance to get a winning record, you're going to try to do that. Same thing for the Lions, though, and I really think they have a good shot to win. Anyway, back to this, though. Jared Goff, he had his worst game in years, guys. This, again, reminded me of really just 2 games back in 2020, because this was really the last time I saw a game that reminded me of this struggle for him. He had 4 turnovers they had in this game? Yeah. Jared Goff had 4 turnovers in this game against the Niners, which, again, they shouldn't have lost because their defense played out of their mind. But on top of that, for the Rams in this game, he had 4 turnovers. Again, he got sacked 5 times in this one, right? Yeah. But 4 turnovers, but also one was a pick 6. Again, I understand that didn't happen in this one, but it was very similar. Dolphins-Rams 2020. This is another game. Jared Goff threw for a crap ton of yards and 61 pass attempts. I understand that. But he had 4 turnovers in this game too, right? Yeah, 4 turnovers in this game too. So, might have only been 3. You get the point. Very similar game. You saw the Van Ginkel, again, kind of like deja vu there. But guys, simply put for the Lions in this game, Jared Goff, they had 6 total turnovers. Only the Steelers and Colts game even had the same amount. When again, that was kind of when the Colts had that downturn there earlier in the season, back in Week 9. But only that game had the same amount of turnovers as this one. I mean, guys, the Lions offense just couldn't hold on to the effing ball. There were so many mistakes. They just didn't look prepared for this game. On a short week, I understand you just played in Pittsburgh, but guys, in this game, you had to show up. They actually got swept by the Vikings on the season, so they're in last place right now, technically. And it would be insane if they all had winning records, but still. Again, you look at this Lions team. This is an inexcusable performance by Jared Goff. Again, he's obviously one of the better quarterbacks in football, at least definitely statistically. He's arguably outside of Stafford, but the most statistically, again, before this game, statistically dominant quarterback in football this year. But, like, guys, you can't play like this in a game like this. It's just that simple. Again, he's been really good in big-time games for this team recently, but game like this, guys, you just got to be better. I will say, though, this Lions running game the past really 3 weeks has been absolutely atrocious. The offensive line, they didn't block in this game. That's probably something I should mention, too. The fact, really, they were decent last week, but overall, the pass protection, like this week, they just simply didn't block. It was like the freaking wall came down. But the running game, it was atrocious. Jahmyr Gibbs, again, this was very similar to the way he played against the Vikings back in Week 9. Just unplayable. He had a horrible game. Couldn't really pass protect. Dave Montgomery, again, I don't think this stat line really does him justice because I think he had a decent game. He broke some tackles, but at the same time, he definitely missed his holes here and there too. Both these guys just weren't enough in this game. And honestly, Jahmyr Gibbs just absolutely atrocious. Like, the 2 games against the Vikings this year have just been really bad. Other than that, though, receiving-wise, Isaac Tisslaw had a touchdown, but, like, Amon-Ra St. Brown really didn't get open. No one really did much in this game. I will say the fact they don't have Sam Laporta really hurts this offense because they really only have 2 guys that are going to be, again, really, technically, I guess you could say Jahmyr Gibbs too, but 2 guys that you're going to consistently be able to get the ball to, and outside of that, it's, like, kind of a mixed bag because Jahmyr Gibbs obviously a great receiver, but, like, only can do so much with that if these 2 guys aren't getting open. And then obviously, Sam Laporta, again, he's just so big for this offense. But honestly, guys, the defense, really the only issues I had was the fact that Alquan Muhammad wasn't out there on some of the key third down situations. Aiden Hutchinson, though, dominated. This entire secondary showed up. They played a phenomenal game. Really, the only gripes I have is the fact that Malcolm Rodriguez was on the field for whatever reason. He's just not been a good enough player for them. Derek Barnes, I think, did was good in terms of his tackling. Alexander Deloney nails in coverage. Jack Campbell kind of proved me wrong in terms of his, again, an All-Pro. I wouldn't say he's going to get an All-Pro selection, but he looked like that guy in this game. Really, the only issues was, again, some linebacker issues on this defense. But other than that, they were freaking fantastic. Vikings, again, you saw Max Brosmer, 2 for 51 yards. Quite simply just didn't lose them the game. I mean, he probably should have, considering how he played. But still, quite literally just didn't lose them the game. The running game was actually kind of shocking with how much they ran it. Because, I mean, Ty Chandler is just not an NFL running back, in my opinion, in terms of getting consistent carries. Aaron Jones, again, didn't really do much. But again, the biggest thing for this offense, really the only thing this offense really did in this game was that Jordan Addison play. I will say, Justin Jefferson, huge third down, catching that 3rd and 5. That was one of the bigger plays in the game. But outside that, guys, this Vikings offense didn't do jack. For this defense, other than not losing the game. Defensively, this defense has been, at least statistically, one of the better ones in the league this season. Blake Cashman has been proven to be one of the better linebackers in football, especially in this game. Byron Murphy, amazing in man coverage. I mean, we haven't really seen this year in zone coverage. Still great. Harrison Smith, one of his better games, and honestly, years from him. Jonathan Allen got like 5 pressures. Again, it was a lot of guys just stepping up, making individual plays. Andrew Van Ginkel, best game of his season in this one. Again, their best players in this defense just stepped up, and a lot of the role players also didn't make mistakes. Like Fabian Moreau, guys, I haven't heard about this guy in a while. He's freaking 31. He hadn't played in, he just doesn't play a lot, guys. But this year, he's really stepped up for this team down the stretch. Obviously, it really doesn't amount to much. But again, if you're a Vikings fan in this win, again, be very pumped with what you saw. But again, you can see the team stats. Again, this wasn't a very great game. But again, the fact that Vikings were at least somewhat, again, not... They were awful on offense, obviously, but at least they didn't turn over the ball, which was the biggest thing. When you get 6 turnovers for the Lions, again, unless you're the Texans last year playing against the Lions, where Jared Goff threw 5 picks, you're probably not going to win. So, as we saw in this game, Vikings defense played phenomenal. Lions offense blew the season here. Again, really unfortunate for Lions fans because, again, you actually saw this defense play well, and it was Max Brosmer. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys here. Really disappointing performance by the Lions here on Christmas Day. Let's get to the nightcap, which was arguably the best finish.
Kansas City Christmas night.
On a very mild Christmas night in Kansas City, the Chiefs take the field at Arrowhead Stadium for Will Lutz. He kicked for Sean Payton, Chase, all the way back, running for his life, throws, and it is broken up, and it is ball handed to Kareem Hunt, who's been masterful throughout his career. Oladokin looking, has time, throws, and can he get to the goal line? He can, and in. Short first quarter field goal, just from 30 yards out, and that one is good. Snap good. Kick is long enough and good. Nix keeps it, and he's able to pick up the first down. Nix gonna run it, and he's gonna run it into the end zone. Touchdown for the tie, and the kick hooks in. Well, now you got Harvey lined up in the backfield, and now you got Nix is rolling. Nix will throw, and it's caught for the touchdown by R.J. Harvey. Rush 4. Onadokin throws to the end zone, too high and incomplete.
Alright guys, and in the nightcap, you guys just saw the Broncos were able to keep control of the #1 seed in the AFC with this comeback win over the Chiefs. It's their 12th comeback of the season. I think that's the most in NFL history, something ridiculous like that. As they did come back to win this one 20-13 on that late 4th down stop. They were down, what was it, 10-6 at some point. This game ended up scoring a couple touchdowns. Their offense figured some things out to get this thing done. But, again, it remains to be seen if this team can clinch the division as they, tomorrow at least, will be looking to that the first game of the doubleheader to see the Chargers fall to the Texans, which would clinch them in the AFC West. But, again, unless the Patriots lose, they will be playing for the #1 seed no matter what happens. Oh, wait, it's not... Jeez, that might not be true. Let's see. Can the Jags... Let's see what happens here. Playoff predictors. I think this might be right. I want to get this right for y'all. So if we go to the freaking Jags, get to this. Jags win. Broncos fall to the Chargers. No, they got to lose too. Something like that. Oh, damn. So, guys, the Jags have the tiebreaker on the Broncos. That's interesting. Obviously, they're going to want to win next week. So, basically, this is the best way to put it. Unless the Jags, Patriots, and the Chargers all lose over the course of tomorrow and Sunday, the Broncos is a must-win game. They're not going to be able to rest their starters. So, Broncos fans, don't really think your guys going to be resting your starters. Probably should have beat the Jags a couple weeks ago for that to happen because, again, they just beat them. Whatever, though. They're going to be playing, again, at home versus the Chargers next week for a chance to have the home field advantage throughout the playoffs and the first round ballot. Chiefs, though, fall to 6-10 as their first double-digit loss season since 2012. This has been a tough last 2 weeks for them, but I will say they played a hell of a game. They'll be playing in Vegas next week for one of the more somber ends to a season that we've seen in a while. But anyway, here we look at Bo Nix in this game. He wasn't very good. Again, he only took 1 sack, but a lot of the pressures he had really affected him. I think his zone coverage processing in this game and pre-snap diagnosis was very bad. He did make a couple nice plays, though, I'll say that. And also his targets to Cortland Sutton were very, very decent. I'll say that, but again, at least, well-intentioned there. But again, big-time touchdown, also scrambled for a touchdown there to give them the lead. Bo Nix did what he needed to in this game, but overall, it's definitely one of his worst starts of the season. R.J. Harvey didn't have much of a game in this one. Really, he just couldn't get out of the backfield, and also, I think maybe broke 2 tackles in this game. Wasn't his best performance. Julian McLaughlin, I think, did have a good game, though, had a couple nice bursts. Overall, this offensive line did not do a good enough job spacing things out so these running backs could really operate. At receiver, Cortland Sutton did get 10 targets. I think that is not even close to right. It was more like 7. A couple of them were like throwaways. And again, all of them were in the right spot. He was open. Again, either got broken up or it was a catch. R.J. Harvey, big-time touchdown there as well. But outside of that, guys, offensively, it was a lot of bleh and a lot of just not really good schematically correct things. And on top of the fact they didn't really execute well either, it was just kind of a lackluster offensive performance. But hey, it gets it done because we're playing the Chiefs here, I guess. Defensively, they had one of their worst games of the season overall, in my opinion. They just really weren't as effective. Again, the pass rush, it wasn't like they weren't getting there because they did get decent pressure rate. It was just that, again, Chris Oladokun, being a mobile quarterback, was able to completely shred them. Also, their secondary looked very, very lackadaisical. The reason I say that is because there were several plays where they could have just completely taken things over. I understand that, again, it's kind of hard to cover a guy for 6 seconds, but again, this was definitely a game where I would have expected the secondary to dominate, and they really didn't do so. I will say their coverage overall wasn't bad per se. It was just, again, they didn't really have, again, a most effective game. But honestly, guys, who really cares? They did enough to win this one. Meanwhile, for the Chiefs, Chris Oladokun in this one, even though he only threw for 66 yards, he didn't lose them the game. Again, he brought him all the way down to the 21-yard line. A lot of people are going to say that last play to Hollywood Brown was kind of just, again, not a lackluster. Again, a bad throw. It was a bad throw. You want to know why? Because he was 3 seconds late on the anticipating it. He was 2 seconds late on his trigger for the throw, and also it was just high in the first place. If he would have thrown that 2 seconds earlier, or anticipated the throw like a guy like Cam Ward might have, I'm joking. That would have been a touchdown, and they would have won the game. But anyway, that's what I'll say there. Running game, really not too much to talk about here. Kareem Hunt, I think, had a good game, but again, Isaiah Pacheco he has not been the same player since 2023 when he got injured. Travis Kelce might be his last game ever here in Arrowhead. I think he had a hell of a game. Again, defensively, everyone's going to talk about Chris Jones in that offside. That's pretty funny. But again, you could argue, how old is he now? No, he's not going to retire. He's 31. I'm crazy. But, yeah, he definitely didn't look awesome in this game. They did get decent pass rush, though, overall. I think they had a decent pressure. If I'm not mistaken, the plays charted that it was pretty good. Nick Bolton, though, was pretty good. I like to see that. I like the fact they played a couple younger guys. Like, where is he? They played. It wasn't Joshua Williams. It wasn't even Jaden Nix. I don't know why they didn't play a bunch of young guys. It was really. Yeah, they played Noel Williams a lot. That's who it was, right? Because he's a second-year guy, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, no, he was second this year. He was freaking rookie, so he did good. But anyway, look at this game. Chiefs only had 140 yards of offense. Again, they really not going to generate much against this Broncos defense. But overall, again, the one pick by Bo Nix, and also the fact that this team, even though they didn't control the ball, they were somewhat efficient on their possessions, I think was really the big difference in this one. But again, when you look at this team, Broncos were a superior team. The fact that the Chiefs made this close was crazy in its own right. But again, hats off to the Chiefs for making this close. It was definitely a tough one. Broncos, though, can still control your destiny for the one seed. We'll talk a lot more about that over the next 2 days in our predictions for these games, also the recaps. Hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas. Again, hopefully you guys got what you wanted and what you needed. Again, prayers to the homeless people who or less fortunate people as well. That's all I have for you guys here. I'll see y'all for the predictions for Saturday games sometime soon.
Gets it in, turning a three for the tie. Good! Anthony Edwards with 1.1 second to go in regulation.